Hello, I'm Bryce.cosplay, and today we'll be going over how to clean and put together your airbrush. Now, these are the components to an airbrush. There's a lot of them. You will get a little nervous probably taking them apart and putting it back together again, because you do need to do that in order to maintain it, but practice makes perfect. What you'll need for this is a paper towel or a cloth. The white ones are preferable so you can see what color the paint is coming out and if it's clean or not. Cotton swabs, a garbage to put stuff in, blue window cleaner that's been diluted. I usually go about a 1-to-2 ratio of window cleaner and water. And then optional things are a wire brush set that your airbrush usually comes with, a cleaning pot, and a little spray bottle filled with the diluted window cleaner. First things first, you want to make sure that your bowl is empty of paint. Unfortunately, this was sitting for a bit while I got everything set up, so I had to rehydrate it with some of the diluted window cleaner, but empty out your bowl. I usually turn up my airbrush all the way up to the highest PSI I can and just let it spray away until it's empty, and then I will take a clean piece of paper towel or my cloth and just wipe out that bowl to make sure there's no excess paint. That'll make this take a lot longer. Now, in order to make sure that the bowl is completely empty, I like to go through with the diluted window cleaner and just fill the bowl up, spray it a few times, like get all the air out, and then just to make sure it's clean. You can do this with water. Window cleaner just kind of works better. Now, what I'm doing here is actually trying to make sure I blow out any blockages and any hard pieces of paint. This is a good way to also mix paint when you are painting it. All you have to do is pretty much hold the nozzle with your finger and then pull the trigger back, and it'll blow air back into the bowl and either mix or, in this case, blow out any chunks. Now you want to start with the front of your airbrush, and I just unscrew the nozzle and then the other pieces, and I drop them right into the diluted window cleaner in a bowl. Being very gentle with these pieces too, because if you wreck them, there's a high chance you cannot get them back. You'll have to buy a whole new gun. So you don't want to leave the pieces in the window cleaner for too long. I usually say about 10 minutes max, or else you can actually degrade your pieces, and that's never fun either. So we just took everything apart. If you're nervous about this and it's your first time actually taking an airbrush apart, you can film yourself doing it while you do so, and also label where things are going. If that's not possible for you, you can easily download a diagram of what a airbrush components look like, and that'll help as well. I don't want to stick my needle in here because it's fragile. You can if you want to, especially if there is some pretty stuck-on chunks, but I just take a little bit of the window cleaner, spritz it on the towel or the cloth, and then just wipe it down. Usually a very quick submersion followed by a wipe down with either the Q-tip or the paper towel is usually enough to clean it. You can leave your stuff in for a little bit longer if it's being a little bit more stubborn, but with the Q-tips, you just want to shove them in any tighter areas that you can't really get clean with the paper towel or the cloth, and just kind of swish it around. If you need to, you can dip it into the window cleaner, but besides that, it's quite easy, pretty explanatory. And then you just want to make sure you look all around, make sure there's no clogged areas, you can see through the hole. Your needle is nice and clean, there's no chips, there's no hard pieces of paint, because that will block your airflow later. And then in your bowl, you want to also make sure that there's nothing left. So what I mean with the degrading, that little piece there that's red, that's the rubber that seals everything together, so there's no leakage with paint. As you see here, it's nice, bright, and beautiful. This is my big bowl. I accidentally disintegrated it by leaving it in the diluted solution for, I think it was, I don't know, but it was too long. So I could no longer use that bowl without paint going everywhere. So please, just make sure you're not. Yeah. So with the main body of the airbrush, things into it, just be very gentle, very clean. You do want to deep clean it every now and again. You don't have to always do it, but sometimes paint can be blown back into the body and then it kind of gets crusty and dusty and all that stuff. So just a quick wipe down and you're good to go. A good way to test if your airbrush is clean and the nozzle is not clogged is put a little bit of solution or cleaner into where the bowl sits, and then just drag it along your cloth or your paper towel in a clean spot. And if you see color that is not the diluted airbrush cleaner, then you go in and clean it again. If you need, take your wire brushes, scrub it along with that, but most of the time it's pretty easy. If it is clogged and you cannot get it out, you will have to take off the nipple, which is the last resort kind of option. Slow-mo, so it's going to take a while, but the first thing you want to do is put in your needle arm. You're going to make sure that the T side of it is in where the trigger goes, because that's what holds the trigger in place. Next up, you're going to take your spring guide with the spring inside, and you're going to put it over top of that edge of the arm, and then you're going to just kind of twist it into place. You don't want to strip it or get it too tight, and then just double check, like the T part that's poking out of the trigger area is bouncing back and forth, because that means it's in correctly. Next, you're going to take and you're going to fit it in front of that little T that was placed in first. That's going to give you the resistance and the control over how hard the air and the paint comes out and how fast it also comes out. Next, you're going to take your needle and you're going to fit it in through that little hole at the end of the needle guide, needle arm, whatever you want to call it. You're just going to very gently fit it through. Make sure you can see it at the other side of the airbrush and that it's poking out slightly. You can see where the needle is, so you could kind of see it in here. You could see the needle like being pushed in. It's pointy, that's all I'm gonna say. You could kind of see it's a very, very small thing, but you would just want to make sure that that is where your needle is. Next, you're going to take the nut and you're just going to screw it onto the back end, trying to just be very gentle with it. You don't want to strip it or tighten it too much. Just, you can play around with it, make sure your needle moves back and forth before you put the cover over, but that is the back end of the gun. Nice and shiny, right? Almost. It's kind of dirty still. So the front piece of the gun, you're going to start with your needle cap and you're just going to screw that on. You don't have to be too careful, you don't have to be too gentle, any of that, you just screw it on. It's easy peasy. This part of the gun, you don't really have to worry about too much. So just screw that on, and then you're going to take your your needle cap, and you're going to screw that on as well. And then next up, your bowl. Just screw it on. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That is how you put together your airbrush, and also the reverse is how you can take it apart. Now, I just like to make sure that everything is in working order, so I'll turn my air compressor back on, fill the bowl up a little bit with either water or the diluted solution, and just spray it. If you don't have a cleaning pot, you can just spray everything into a cloth or a paper towel, and that helps just as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoy airbrushing, so hopefully I'll get more of these out, but thank you for watching. That is all for today. I hope you found this very educational and entertaining, and I'll see you next time.